everybody, it's Lyn from Lyn's Craft Designs. I'm coming by today because I'm going to show you how to do a technique, design, whatever you want to call it. Using the Globeland, which is one of the brands on BeeBeeCraft. Set of stamps. And I'm going to make, in this case, I'm going to make a fridge magnet, but these are just some of the ones I've done. Now, I don't know how well you can tell, but the embossing powder is on a different layer than the stamp. In other words, I've stamped, put a layer of UV resin, then embossed, then put another layer of UV resin. Okay, that one's with the glitter. I believe it's the Ranger Snowflake embossing powder. Okay, this one as well is the Ranger Antique Gold line, maybe? I'm not sure, but this is the tarnished gold, and then this is the copper. And tiny little bit of the holographic embossing powder. You can't really see it, except that you can see the reflection on the glitter. Okay, now this stamp in particular is sold out. Typical. But I did put a substitute stamp link that is another bottle stamp. Not necessarily underwater themed, but it would work. This will work with any of the Globeland stamps. It will work with any of your stamps, any embossing powders. On these in particular, I did the wax, the Primo wax on the background, but you could do a dry brush of acrylic paint and the background to lift that stamped image a little bit. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so I've got these two stamp sets. I'm going to use the gnomes off of this one and the mushroom house, as well as I think maybe just this one. Trying to stay sort of in line with that style. These others are a little bit, this one in particular is a little bit more cartoon, which would be fine, but I think I'll just go with that one. Alright? Okay, now I've just got a stamping block, an acrylic stamping block, which you can buy in the stamping section of your craft store, where they have the stamps. This one came from the infamous free sale. So, alright, so this is Primo Pearl, which is not necessary. You could use a Primo White, would be just as good. These this one I did on black, this one I did on brown. It just depends on what you want the stamped image to show. In this one in particular, I'm going for a winter themed. So, alright. Now, the mushrooms, I want them to be kind of raised. In other words, I want the gnomes to sit lower. Okay. You want to make some really good contact and get a really good image. Alright? Okay, now, before I cut this out or anything, I'm going to decide what color I want the background to be. Okay, this is the peacock, which was last winter's release, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Alright. Like I said, you could do a dry brush of acrylic paint. Don't get caught up into thinking you gotta have the wax, because you don't. This fingernail is short. That's why I'm doing it left-handed. Because I hate when this stuff gets under your fingernail. Alright. Just going to use a flat finger. And as you can tell, it will spread when I want to cut this out, but before I do that, I want to check that I'm not going to cut I'm not going to cut the gnomes. Okay. Now, I can cut this off. Around about there. Boy, my one swift motion really distorted it, didn't it? Alright. Open the top. Hey, since I was about to stick this back in the oven, I thought I would show you a little tip. Right? It's with embossing powder. Now, this set isn't available anymore like most of the stuff I have. And white, snow white embossing powder doesn't stay white very long. I'm gonna give you a little for instance. Okay, when new, this was as snow white as the glitter base. It turns yellow really quickly. I could show you another one that's even worse. But this is the one I'm gonna use. Okay, because it doesn't have a glitter or anything in it, and it is a chunky glitter. Alright, I've got my Versamark embossing ink pad. Sorry. Excuse the look of it, because it does look horrible. Okay, I'm just gonna... I'm going to rake the edge. Sometimes I'll do mild smell, but that's an opinion from what I understand. Because a lot of people complain about the smell, in particular of this Lamino resin. So I'm just going to put a layer on and then put it under my UV light, which again I believe I've said before. I think it's a 48 watt, but don't quote me on that. My other one is a 36 watt, and it did always work fine before. I just got this one for a review, so that's why I've been using it. Now, when I did use the 36 watt, I was using that Ultra Dome, which I really like. Well, I did like it. I will say, these UV resins changed formula quite a bit. It's iffy. Whether to put it on a tile or not. Alright. Now, this is just a silicone tip. I've used a toothpick. I used to use a wire in the past. So I'm just going to spread it out to the edges. It will... Alright, so I'll just stick this under my... No. First, I will just use my UV torch. Just to keep it from getting unlevel when I put it in under the lamp. My UV light could probably stand new batteries, but alright, so I'll just put this under the UV light for, in total, it will be about 6 minutes. I don't have a continuous timer, so I'll have to push the button a couple of times, but about 6 minutes and it will be done. With one this size, it can tend to curl up, like I said, like these did, which is another reason why I'm doing the UV light, flashlight. And I will put it under there at first with the, it's got a 90-second low heat setting, so that's what I'll do. Okay, this is the Ranger, just says embossing powder. It's the silver. I believe it's from the antique line. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is a gorgeous color. Again with the Versamark, and then I've put the little gnomes as closely together as I could get them, and they just fit. Okay, so let's give it a go. Now, I actually prefer to stamp my stamp into the embossing pad instead of putting the embossing pad on the stamped image. I just feel like I can tell when the stamp is a little more level, so that way I'm not getting too much embossing ink where I don't want it, which would also transfer. Alright, so it has warped just a little bit, so I'll have to make sure it's making good contact. It can be slippery and really, really difficult. Alright. Now, actually, yes, I can actually see that it did stamp just a little bit. Now, like I said, any embossing powder, any color, I'm just sharing the technique with you. Now, as you can tell, the UV resin can be kind of sticky. Let me see if I can blow this just a little bit. Okay, now this is really stuck, but it will wipe right off. Okay, all I had to do was take this little paintbrush and clean up around the outside edges of the stamp. The stamped image itself will still, yeah, it'll still have a little extra embossing powder, but we're going to overlook that. I always heat my heat gun off of the surface I'm embossing, just so that it's hot and ready. There we go. Okay, it'll be hot for just a couple of seconds, and then I'm gonna put another layer of UV resin over the top, and then you can embellish it however you want with a sprinkle of acrylic paint snowflakes, or you can do whatever. It'll be really cute. So I'm gonna put another layer of resin, and then I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. Maybe not quite enough contrast between the background and the stamped image, but still it's really cute. I've got some heavy grade magnets that I'll put on the back. I'll try to link those below as well. Okay, so that's it from the supplies shown here. I really like this one. I don't know why. It's because it's sparkly. The gnomes, the mushrooms, the bottles with the kelp, and the Christmas themed. All from Globeland, which is a seller on BeeBeeCraft. Please remember, $5 off when you spend $40 with the coupon code Lynscraft 5, I believe. I'll link it below. Alright, thank y'all so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I try to list all my social media links below, as well as my Amazon shop, which I get a little bit of kickback from, and my Etsy shop. So, if you're ever interested in buying anything, please check those links. And, that's all I want to say. Thank y'all so much for watching. Bye for now. No, I had to do it. I had to go back with the Ranger Snowflake color and add a little edging. Now, because this is going to be a fridge magnet, that's why I don't mind putting the embossing powder on the top. If it was on jewelry where it would be rubbed all the time, I would put another layer of resin on top. Sorry, I'm at the reach of my heat gun. The cord is too short. I realize it has to meet safety requirements or whatever, but it's too short. Okay. Sorry, I like to show it real time so you actually get to see when it changes, and so you know how long it actually takes. These ones like the snowflake and stuff like that actually have a color change, sort of. It goes from a yellow white to a whiter white. Okay. Alright, there we go. The finished product. I think it's so cute now. I'm glad I went back and added the snow. It looks really cute. Alright. Again, thank you so much for watching, now that I don't have all my products out here. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.